guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am driving this, the Hyundai Grand i10 Nios. Oh god, I am so frustrated with this thing, how to pronounce it, I'm so sorry. Anyways, here we go. This is the engine bay. It says K1.2 because it's not a K series motor, because that comes in Maruti, but it's the Kappa motor. And you can see the engine bay is a little dirty because we've been splashing water all over the place. No insulation here, but look at the dirtiness because it's kind of flooded in Udaipur, unfortunately. Any which ways, as you can see, the design of the car is really nice. Seems like an evolution of the Grand i10, and overall definitely it looks nice, a little quirky, and a lot of Tata Tiago from the rear. Like the rear light will definitely remind you of that. But overall I would say that Hyundai has done a great job, certainly. But I've already reviewed that particular car, actually the diesel one, earlier. All you have to do is click here to see that video. So I'm just going to do a quick walk around. Well, I would say that rear seat space is good. In fact, they've increased space at the rear and they've tried to match it with the Maruti Suzuki Swift. In fact, there's more space at the rear than the Swift, and the interior looks nice as well. This is new Hyundai's design language, where actually this is, you know, kind of a one piece, gives you the impression of a Mercedes car. Yeah, actually quality levels are nice, plenty of features on offer: wireless charger, push button start, audio controls on the steering wheel. Horn is also very nice. You get a reverse parking camera there too. It gets guidelines, but they are not adaptive. Audio quality is also nice. It gets an Alchemy sound system, but it misses out on an auto dimming inside view mirror. Seats are comfortable, but no adjustable headrests at the front. Adjustable headrests at the rear, but not for the center passenger. But why have we been talking so much about the interior of the car? Automatic climate control system. So yes, plenty of features. 6 airbags, solely missed. Overall front seats are also comfortable. They've given bolstering on the side as well. Let's just start driving. Alright, air conditioning is off, there's no traction control. Revving the motor, revs till 5000 RPM. And as you saw, the acceleration is quite brisk. Now this is the same engine as before, which happens to be a 1.2 liter Kappa motor. It gets variable valve timing as well. Goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in around 14 seconds. And performance is very brisk because performance is linear for the most part. So yes, low end performance is great. Mid-range is also good enough, but it kind of loses steam in the top end. And yeah, that is not what you would expect from a petrol engine. It should have top end performance. But what Hyundai has done is they've tuned the motor so well that it has good amount of punch lower down while compromising a bit on the top end, which is completely fine because low end performance is great. Drivability is really very nice in the city, and the refinement from this motor is absolutely fab. Okay, you can barely hear the motor at idle. It only gets vocal once you get past 3,500 RPM, because that's when it starts to scream. Right now we're in 5th gear. If I downshift here into 3rd, yeah, it somehow feels more refined than its predecessor, which is a good thing. And as far as punch goes, that's great too. But because this motor is now BS6 compliant with the same power output as before, which happens to be 83 PS of power and 140 Newton meters of torque, there's a slight difference in terms of performance, but that's not really noticeable unless and until you look at it with a very keen eye. And the good thing I like about this car is the brakes. They're really very strong. Okay, I didn't even apply full brakes, but sure-footed stopping power for sure. Revving the motor, and here we go. Little bit of wheel spin in spite of the wet road, but yes, the gearbox is really very slick shifting. In fact, the clutch is also on the lighter side, and I love the way this engine is so freaking amazing in terms of refinement, yet being vocal in the top end. 100 kilometers per hour comes up in 3rd gear itself. Ride quality is brilliant. The suspension is on the softer side, but there's this maturity to the ride which makes it feel very European somehow, because it does a great job over bad roads. It absorbs almost everything in its stride. That's how good the ride quality is. I'm extremely impressed by the ride quality of this car. In fact, in spite of the softness of the suspension, it still does not bob around at higher speeds. It doesn't have much vertical movement either. So not only low speed ride, but even high speed ride is brilliant. It's only like really big potholes which catch out this car, but for the most part ride quality is absolutely brilliant. And of course the tires are having good amount of grip too. That's the reason why no matter how wet the road is, it's not aquaplaning at all, because there's good amount of grip on offer. There's no worry as far as driving this car goes because it feels very sure-footed. I love the fact that even at higher speeds, it remains glued to the road. Hyundai's done an absolute fab job in terms of ride quality and high speed stability in this vehicle, but where they have missed out yet again is the steering feel. Although it is light at lower speeds, the steering, which is good obviously in terms of maneuverability, it doesn't really weigh up brilliantly at higher speeds. It does weigh up better than before for sure, but yes, it doesn't have the connection in the center ahead position. It could have been better for sure, and it doesn't feel that direct too. So this is not a car for enthusiasts. Well, the i10 never was, but you know what, body roll is decently well contained, and overall this car does give you a feel of reassurance whenever you try to drive it hard and fast. So what Hyundai has actually done is made minor changes to the mechanicals. Yes, there are some changes which make the i10 even better now, but they're too minor. Yeah, the chassis uses 65% high tensile steel. Yes, it is rigid, it is stiff, the chassis, but the suspension is on the softer side. So overall, I think that's how they actually get the balance, because it just feels so good and easy to drive this car. It is no Swift, mind you. It is absolutely not a Maruti Swift in terms of handling feel, steering feel, or even cornering ability, because it doesn't feel that sure-footed around the corners. It doesn't need to, because this is more about comfort, and the i10 actually excels in this regard absolutely. Like I told you, supremely refined, but you know, it is not an enthusiastic motor. It doesn't rev really fast. It doesn't scream in the red line, or rather it doesn't scream to the red line, which is marked till 6,500 RPM. It actually goes to 6,500 RPM. It just feels a little lethargic for my liking. It's not an engine which will put your pants on fire, but neither is the diesel, which happens to be a 1.2 liter U2 diesel motor, which by the way is a 3-cylinder unit, produces 75 PS of power and 190 Newton meters of torque. That engine too has a good amount of punch lower down, a good mid-range, but lacks a top end completely. In fact, it's kind of dead at 3,500 RPM, but then it redlines still around 5,000 RPM only. Obviously, it's a diesel, you don't expect much. The diesel is slightly stiffer. This car is obviously prone to understeer naturally because front-wheel drive, and then they have dialed in that for safety reasons. No front-wheel drive car actually oversteers as much, but you know, the original Swift, the first gen model, did oversteer a bit, because that was the way Maruti had actually, or rather Suzuki had actually set it up. Now, talking about the other nifty bits about this car, Hyundai is offering something known as a variable warranty. Now, the warranty which comes with this car is 3 years or 1 lakh kilometers, 4 years or 50,000 kilometers, or 5 years or 40,000 kilometers. So, you know, depending on how much you're actually driving the car, the warranty can be opted for. Variable warranty, which is by the way the first in the segment. There are 10 variants on offer. This petrol which I'm driving is a manual right now, but there are 2 automatic variants also on offer. Meanwhile, for the diesel, are obviously available in manual, and there's also an automatic available. With the diesel, only 1 variant. Now, obviously, the automatic variants are the AMTs, which is very cost effective as well, but you're going to end up paying rupees 70,000 more for the automatic over the same trim manual version. It's such a joy to drive this car in the city. I love the lightness it has to offer, and of course the beautifully tuned gearbox, like real defined gates. You know your stuff, you know which gear you're getting into. You will never miss a gear shift. That's how smooth the gearbox is, which is very impressive indeed. Yes, steering is not that communicative. Now, talking about the diesel is costing around rupees 1.3 lakhs more. Now, obviously the price differences which I tell you is on road Mumbai. Meanwhile, the starting price of the Grand i10 Nios is rupees 5.9 lakhs, and the top end variant, the top end diesel, costs rupees 9.5 lakhs. Meanwhile, this one, the top of the line petrol, is priced at rupees 8.23 lakhs. It might seem expensive, but trust me, it is still cheaper than the Maruti Swift, although it does miss out on certain features which the Swift has to offer. First gear 54 kilometers per hour, and Hyundai's philosophy has been very straightforward with the Grand i10 Nios. Okay, Nios. I'm so sorry, I messed it up. I don't understand what is the naming like, but still, Hyundai keeps adding another prefix to their car. First it was Hyundai i10, then Hyundai Grand i10, Hyundai Grand i10 Nios. Next one is going to be Hyundai Grand i10 Nios XYZ as well. So the name keeps increasing, and every time, you know, it becomes so difficult to pronounce for me. I'm really bad at this. I'm so sorry. But that said, I think that was unnecessary. But then Hyundai wants to sell both the regular i10, or rather the regular Grand i10, as well as the newer model, like they did when they sold the Grand i10 as well as the i10 together. Well, that's the kind of strategy which Skoda also had with the okay, whatever that's called, and the Octavia. Okay, this is madness striking at me. Anyways, let's get to the point of driving this car. So overall, quality levels are really very nice, and the car has good amount of features as well. It does miss out on certain features which would have been appreciated, but considering this particular vehicle now is the latest gen, it should have got the option of 6 airbags. Somehow Hyundai has missed out on that. Considering Hyundai offers a lot of features, well, that's a gaffe. Anyways, that said, the good thing to like about this car is the fact that it's comfortable, easy to drive, feature loaded, and has good amount of quality as well. So certainly this will appeal to buyers in the segment who are looking for something which is peaceful, easy to drive, and don't really want a fun to drive car. But you know what is fun? This is fun. This is what I define fun as. Okay, yeah, obviously splashing water is always fun. The rains have dawned upon us. Okay, bad road, no problem. Look at the composure. It is so freaking composed. The suspension just works brilliantly well. I like it a lot. Hyundai seems to be understanding the Indian market very well. They know for a fact that people are actually looking for a car which is comfortable, easy to drive, and feature rich as well with great quality, and that's where this car absolutely excels. It's not a driver's delight, it doesn't need to be, because how many people are actually interested in driving feel? Yeah, it's only the journalists who go out shouting saying steering feel is very nice, but average consumer is like, steering is light, wow, what a boon. Anyways, that said, Hyundai has done another great job with their latest car, and I believe it's going to sell in good numbers. The petrol is of course BS6 compliant. The diesel is not BS6 compliant because you cannot drive a BS6 compliant car on BS4 fuel right now. Diesel is not available pan India yet. However, some manufacturers are having this AdBlue tank like Mercedes-Benz, which actually helps in running BS6 cars on BS4 fuel. That's it guys, I'm quite impressed by this vehicle, although I would have really appreciated if Hyundai had offered more safety features, especially side airbags and probably a more powerful diesel engine too. But then most consumers in this segment are looking for fuel economy. The petrol is right now returning a fuel economy of 14.3 kilometers per litre, which is quite impressive, and the ARAI figures are even better. So if you like this vlog, you know what you have to do. Give it a thumbs up, that's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye.